How would you describe true love?
Being together and caring for each other.
If you love a person, you accept them as they are.
Commitment, a sense of commitment.
You would give your all for that person, and they would also give their all. Like 100%, not 80-20 or 50-50. You have to really trust where they're coming from, and they have to trust where you're coming from.
True love to me is a love that lasts. That's true love.
She was born in Mississippi and moved to Chicago when she was like 6 years old. And just so happened to marry a man who was from the same little town in Mississippi. And they were the same age, came here at different points in their life. She came when she was 6, he came when he was 16. But they were introduced here, and the rest is history.
My husband and I, we grew into the kind of relationship that we ended up having. It took years for us to get to the point we were. And there were so many people who wanted to be like us, as time went by.
They were introduced by family members, and right away just kind of hit it off and got married. It was a very simple, but it's kind of those unsaid things. Like, you never really know the trials that they overcame to get to that point.
Her and my grandpa have been together for a long time, so I just hope when I get married, I can stay in a long relationship. I'm not even really thinking about that right now, but it's when that is, time comes, it's just that's amazing that you could stay together with someone for that long.
Now, my present husband, I met him almost immediately after getting a divorce from my first husband. I moved back to Chicago and I stayed with my mother. There was a young lady who lived down the street from my mother that I'd gone to high school with. I had been gone from the community at least 5-6 years. And so she saw me, I guess it was on the porch or in front of the house or something. And so this girl came down and she said, "You know what, I see, I haven't seen you in such a long time. Would you go to a bachelor party with me tonight?" And I said, "Well, yeah." So I went to the bachelor party. That's where I met my present husband. We've been married now for 46 years.
Yeah, you don't really see that too much, long marriages anymore. So, fingers crossed.
What do you observe about them? What's their dynamic like?
Comfortable. They're just really comfortable with each other. I don't know. I guess after being with someone for that long, you just kind of know. She kind of knows what my grandpa's gonna say, or what he's doing, or just little stuff that it just takes, I feel years to be accustomed to.
So there's a story that my great uncle talks about where he was yeah, she had all these suitors that would come to the house. There were several suitors that came. And, we would ask her, what do you think about this fella? And she was like, I don't really like him that much. And finally, my grandfather came around, and uncle, that's what we call my great uncle, was I asked her about that, and she said, "Oh, I like him."
My husband at one time wasn't working. So I was working a little job, and we did that, but we saved our money. And so that's one time when life didn't go as planned. We always thought that we would have something, he would have work to do, but sometimes he didn't. So, but we made the best of it because he would find a part-time job and I would try to do something to make a little money, and we got along.
We were living on the west side, and we decided when I was pregnant with my second daughter, we had to move because the apartment was too small for with the second child. So we had the baby, and my husband and I started looking for a new home, a place to live somewhere south.
So I watched what it means to be in a respectful relationship where people genuinely respect each other first and genuinely like each other.
So we went take a look. They had models. They had 3 models, and the first model was a smaller house. And I said, "Oh, I love it! I love it! I this is brand new. I love it." So he said, "Well, wait." The guy who was showing us the homes, he said, "Well, come and see the second one." So I saw the second one. That was even better. I said, "Oh, I like it." And then when they came, this was the third one, the bi-level. So when I walked in, I said, "I want this house." I want this house. So my husband and I, at the time, I was not working. I had stopped working because I had the 2 kids. So we went back home and tried to figure out how could we afford this house. So we laid on the floor with some pencils and pads all night long, trying to figure out how we could afford to get this house.
It's just shown me what I think like what it really means to love somebody, you know, and love somebody through seasons of their life.
This house was built for my husband and I. And the husband that I introduced you to, he's my second husband. My first husband died. He died after we had moved. We moved here. We were here for 2.5 years, and he died.
It was just an amazing relationship to behold. Just so precious. They had such a mutual respect for each other. Man, if I could find something half as amazing as that.
And I met my husband, my present husband. I met him when Kim and Karen was like 12 and 9. And he and I dated for 22 years. And I told him, I said, I don't want to get married until my kids grow up. I wanted to raise my kids myself. And I said, once they're grown and gone, they're done with college, and when they're out of the house, then I get married.
So, how do you know you have found the person you should marry?
I know when I can't get along by myself, when I can get along better with him than being separate. How's that?
I don't know. Is that your answer?
That's my answer.
So, but how do you know if if you should pick that person?
Because that's the best one out of the bunch.
How do you know they're the best? Like, what is the criteria?
Oh, Des. Because that's the only one I want. That's my choice.
Okay. That's a good answer.
Why did you choose to get married?
Okay. Twice.
Yeah,
Okay.
each time.
The first time was really about love. But again, we were so young till we didn't have the know-it-all to work on it to make it last. We didn't know the things that we know today. And that's really truly why people say you're too young. You just don't know. And then the second time, well, I knew and I recognized that there was a man that really, really could and would love me and love my daughter and make my life happy. And he ended up doing that until he passed. So it wasn't so much for that, that, what do you call it? Puppy love. That's what the first love is. But it was about real life at the point that I met him. And I knew that I needed some security and someone who could make life a lot better for us. And he did that.
What is the role of sex in a relationship?
It's very important. I can look at you and tell that. Because if you don't, your husband gonna go elsewhere. So you're gonna take care of the business. You're not going to have those moods in time when you're gonna punish him for not doing something you want him to do. You know, you have a lot of women like they punish their husband and they try to punch him and hold sex from him. You're not supposed to do that. But I've heard of a lot of women doing that. When you do that, that's send them elsewhere. Because there's plenty of women out there will take care of the business for you.
All right.
They will. I know this. But honey, my husband's well satisfied. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes.
Do married people still hang out with their single friends?
A lot of times they don't because they feel that you want their husbands. And they don't want you that close because they feel that their husband might kind of look at you. So they don't like that too much. But I would say with your friend, I mean, you all could do things out, not together with him. I think that, you all could do things on your own, like go to wherever you want to go. You all can get that together, and just the two of you and your other friends. It can be like that.
Do you think you found true love?
Definitely. Definitely.
If a young man does not treat his mother with respect, I don't think it's very likely that he's going to treat you with respect.
Like the old ways, where they open the door for you, they pull out your chair. They're nicer to you than you're thinking about being to them.
I don't necessarily romanticize the dating of the past or think that it was easier, but it definitely ain't easy now.
Do all men or people cheat?
What a question.
Love can be very fleeting.
Well, see, I never had anyone to give me advice like that.